How to use the willpower to get rich. This is chapter 9 of The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. To set about getting rich in a scientific way, you do not try to apply your willpower to anything outside of yourself. You have no right to do so. Anyway, it is wrong to apply your will to other men and women in order to get them to do what you wish done. It is as flagrantly wrong to coerce people by mental power as it is to coerce them by physical power. If compelling people by physical force to do things for you reduces them to slavery, compelling them by mental means accomplishes exactly the same thing. The only difference is its methods. If taking things from people by physical force is robbery, then taking things by mental force is robbery also. There is no difference in principle. You have no right to use your willpower upon another person, even for his or her own goods, for you do not know what is for that person's good. The secret of getting rich does not require you to apply power or force to any other person in any way whatsoever. There is not the slightest necessity for doing so. Indeed, any attempt to use your will upon others will not only tend to defeat your purpose. You do not need to apply your will to things in order to compel them to come to you. That would simply be trying to coerce God and would be foolish and useless as well as irreverent. You do not have to compel God to give you you good things and more than you have to use willpower to make the sun rise. You do not have to use your willpower to conquer an unfriendly deity or to make stubborn and rebellious forces to your bidding. Substance is friendly to you and is more anxious to give you what you want than what you get it. I again repeat this line as it is a good sentence. Substance is friendly to you and is more anxious to give you what you want than you are to get it. To get rich, you need only to use your willpower upon yourself. When you know what you think and do, then you must use your will to compel yourself to think and do the right things. This is the legitimate use of will in getting what you want. To use it in holding yourself to the right course, you use your will to keep yourself thinking and acting in the certain way. Do not try to project your will or your thoughts or your mind out into space and act on things or people. Keep your mind at home. It can accomplish more there than elsewhere. Use your mind to form a mental image of what you want and to hold that vision with faith and purpose, and use your will to keep your mind working in the right way. The more steady and continuous your faith and purpose, the more rapidly you will get rich, because you will make only positive impressions upon substances and you will not neutralize or offset them by negative impressions. The picture of your desires held with faith and purpose. The picture of your desires held with faith and purpose is taken up by the divine and permits it to great distance throughout the universe. As this impression spreads, all things are set moving towards its realization. Every living thing, every inanimate thing, and the things yet uncertain, uncreated, are steered towards bringing into being that which you want. All forces begin to be exerted in the direction of all things begin to move towards you. The mind of people everywhere are influenced towards doing the things necessary to the fulfilling of your desires and work for you unconsciously. But you can check all this by starting a negative impressions in the divine substance. Doubt or unbelief is as uncertain to start a movement away from you as faith and purpose are to start one towards you. It is by not understanding this that most people who try to make use of mental science in getting rich make their failure. Every hour and moment you spend in giving heed to doubts and fears, every hour you spend in worry, every hour in which your soul is possessed by unbelief sets in current away from you in the whole domain of intelligent substance. All the promises are unto them that believe and unto them only. Since belief is all important, it behooves you to guard your thoughts, as your belief will be shaped to a very great extent by the things you observe and think about. It is important that you should command your attention, and there the will comes into use, for it is by your will that you determine upon what things your attention shall be fixed. If you want to become rich, you must not make a study of poverty. Things are not brought into being by thinking about their opposites. Health is never to be attained by studying disease and thinking about disease. Righteousness is not to be promoted by studying sin and thinking about sin. And no one ever got rich by studying poverty and thinking about poverty. Medicine as a science of disease has increased disease. Religion as a science of sin has promoted sin, and economics as a study of poverty will fill the world with restlessness and want. Do not talk about poverty. Do not investigate it or concern yourself with it. Never mind what it causes, or you have nothing to do with them. What concerns you is the cure. Get rich, that is the best way you can help the poor. If you fill your mind with pictures of poverty, you cannot hold the mental image that is to take you rich. Do not read books or papers that give circumstantial account of the restlessness of the tenements dwellers, of the horrors of child labor, and so on. Do not read anything that fills your mind with gloomy image of want and sufferings. You cannot help the poor in the least by knowing about these things, and the widespread knowledge of them does not tend at all to do away with poverty. What tends to do away with poverty is not the getting a picture of poverty into your mind, but getting picture of wealth into the mind of the poor. You are not deserting the poor in their misery when you refuse to allow your mind to be filled with picture of that misery. Poverty can be done away with not by increasing the number of well-to-do people who think about poverty, but by increasing the number of poor people who propose their faith to get rich. The poor do not need charity, they need inspiration. Charity only sends them a loaf of bread to keep them alive in their restlessness, or give them an entertainment to make them forget for an hour or two. By inspiration will cause them to rise out of their misery. If you want to help the poor, demonstrate to them that they can become rich. Prove it by getting rich yourself. The only way in which poverty will ever be banished from the world is by getting a large and constantly increasing number of people or to practice the teaching of this book. People not be taught to become rich by creation, not by competition. Those who become rich by competition throw down behind them the ladder by which they rise and keep others down. But those who get rich by creation open as way for thousands to follow them and inspire them to do so. You are not showing hardness of heart or an unfeeling disposition when you refuse to pity poverty, see poverty, read about poverty, and think and talk about it, or to listen to those who do talk about it. Use your willpower to keep your mind off the subject of poverty and to keep it fixed with faith and purpose on the vision of what you want. You cannot retain a true and clear vision of wealth if you are constantly turning your attention to opposite pictures, whether they are external or imaginary. Do not tell the tell of your past troubles of a financial nature. If you have had them, do not think of them at all. Do not tell of the poverty of your parents or the hardship of your early life. To do any of these things is to mentally class yourself with the poor of the time being, and it will certainly check the moment of things in your direction. Let the dead bury their dead. Put poverty and all things that pertains to poverty completely behind you. You have accepted a certain theory of universe as being correct and are resting all your hopes of happiness on its being correct. What can you gain by giving heed to conflicting theories? Do not read books that tell you that the world is soon coming to an end, and do not read the writing of pessimist philosophers who tell you that it is going to the devil. The world is not going to the devil, it is going to God. It is wonderful becoming. True, there may be good many things in existing conditions that are disagreeable, but what is the use of studying them when they are certainly passing away, and when the study of them only tends to check their passing and keep them with us? Why give time to and attention to things that are being removed by evolutionary growth when you can hasten their removal only by promoting the evolutionary growth as far as your part of it goes? No matter how horrible in seeming may be the conditions in certain countries, sections, or places, you waste your time and destroy your own chances by considering them. You should interest yourself in the world's becoming rich. Think of the riches the world is coming into instead of the poverty it is growing out of. Bear in mind that the only way in which you can assist the world is growing rich is by growing rich yourself through the creative method, not the competitive one. Give your attention wholly to riches, ignore poverty. Whenever you think or speak of those who are poor, speak of them as those who are becoming rich, as those who are to be congratulated rather than pitied. Then they and others will catch the inspiration and begin to search for the way out. Because you give your whole time and mind and thought to the riches, it does not follow that you are to be sordid or mean. To become really rich in the noblest aim you can have in life, for it includes everything else. On the competitive plane, the struggle to get rich is a godless scramble for power over others, but when we come into the creative mind, all this is changed. All that is possible is the way of greatness and development of your soul, of service and lofty endeavor comes by way of getting rich. All is made possible by the use of things. If you lack for physical health, you will find that the attainment of it is conditional on your getting rich. Only those who are emancipated from financial worry and who have the means to live a carefree existence and follow hygienic practices can have and retain health. Moral and spiritual greatness is possible only to those who are above and competitive battle for existence. Only those who are becoming rich on the plane of creative thoughts are free from the degrading influence of competition. If your heart is set on domestic happiness, remember that love flourishes best where there is refinement, a high level of thought, and freedom from corrupting influences, and these are to be found only where riches are attained by the exercise of creative thought without strife or rivalry. You can aim at nothing so great or noble as to become rich, and you must fix your attention upon your mental picture of riches to the exclusion of all that may tend to dim or obscure the vision. You must learn to see the underlying truth in all the things. You must see beneath all seemingly wrong conditions that life is ever moving forward toward fuller expression and more complete happiness. It is the truth that there is no such thing as poverty, that there is only wealth. Some people remain in poverty because they are ignorant of the fact that there is wealth for them. These people can best be taught by showing them the way to affluence in your own person and practice. Others are poor because while they feel that there is a way out, they are too intellectually indolent to put forth the mental effort necessary to find that way and by travel it. For these, the very best thing you can do is to arouse their desire and by showing them the happiness that comes from being rightly riches. Others still are poor because while they have some notion of science, they have become so swamped and lost in the maze of metaphysical and occult theories that they do not know which road to take. They try a mixture of many systems and fail in all. For these, again and very best thing to do is to show the right way in your own person and practice. An ounce of doing things is worth a pound of theorizing. The very best thing you can do for the whole world is to make the most of yourself. The very best thing you can do for the whole world is to make the most of yourself.